It's 1996 now, and that means new Formula 1 season. But before we go to the inaugural Australian Grand Prix at Albert Park, let's just do a brief overview of the teams, because some things have changed. If you want a slightly deeper dive into all the changes, you can find more refined articles in my community tab. But let's go in the championship order from the last season. First, Benetton. Schumacher left Benetton and the British-Italian outlet picked Gerhard Berger as his replacement. They are aiming for second place in Constructors' Championship. Williams lost David Coulthard, who went to McLaren, and gained Jacques Villeneuve from America. Damon Hill remained on the team, and they are aiming for a title in both Constructors' and Drivers' Championship. Ferrari treats 96 as a transitional season. Yes, they gained Michael Schumacher, but it's only the first step of the transition that is happening in the team. Jean Alesi, after his great last season, is staying on the team. McLaren with Hakkinen and Coulthard finally wants to get back to winning. Jordan was right on their heels last season, and they don't want to repeat that. Talking about Jordan, last season they were close to McLaren, and now they want to overtake them. Their lineup once again consists of Eddie Irvine and Rubens Barrichello. Ligier. Olivier Panis has remained on the team, and Martin Brundle has been signed as their full-time driver. This year there won't be any seat sharing. Ligier wants to remain the best team in the lower midfield and maybe close the gap to teams like Jordan and McLaren. It's another season for Frentzen in Sauber, that now the team has Pedro Diniz and his cash. That cash will be important for their development budget. No changes have been made to Tyrrell's lineup as well. Salo and Katayama remain on the team, which is hopeful that they can score some points this season. Footwork completely revamped their lineup. In came Bill Brama and Ricardo Rosset. It is the second season in Formula 1 for the Pole and first for Brazilian. So Footwork has a really inexperienced lineup, but will they struggle? We will see. Minardi has decided to extend the contracts of their mid-season lineup of Bader and Lamy. Last season the team got on the podium, but they know repeating that is rather a fantasy. But the team still thinks 1 or 2 points finishes are possible. And last, 40. With the lineup of Fisichella and Lavaggi, they are looking to simply survive on the grid. That financial situation after Pedro Diniz left with his money is rather complicated. There are voices that the team will fold mid-season or even earlier. And it's time to start my first qualifying lap of 1996, bringing at 100-meter board into turn 1 and 2, going over the curb. Cars this season seem to be much more planted, although this might just be the difference between Pacific and a Formula 1 team. Worryingly, the engine started overheating as we left Sector 1, so we might have problems on longer circuits like Spa. We might have to run higher radiator size in qualifying for these. And as I was on this straight leading to turn 13, Johnny Herbert finished his lap. We now have a benchmark, 1:27.5. If we will be near that, that's really good. Benetton is not the fastest car, but it's still pretty quick. Going into the final corner, I have some understeer, but it was still a pretty solid exit, and to the line it's 1:27.6! This is a really good lap time. The team is celebrating. We seem to have a really strong pace here in Melbourne, but let's see if we can improve on that. This time I went much more aggressively on the curb through 1 and 2. I don't know if it was faster, but it looked faster. We'll get confirmation after I exit Sector 1, but I guess we don't have to wait. I tried to push those tires a little bit too hard and I lost the grip. And yeah, 2 cents gone already. And now going in turn 9, I understeer, and on the exit I oversteer. Yeah, it's over. And after all, the lap time was 1 second slower. I mean, 1:28.6 would still place us somewhere in the midfield if you had looked at the practice times. But midfield is not good enough for us. Another thing that isn't good enough is the cooling of this car. Even though I was really careful on my cooldown lap, I tried to go as easy on the engine as it's humanly possible. It's still overheated. Yeah, those are the quirks of learning new team, new engine. But Footwork probably wonders if I was the cause of all of those engine failures in Pacific. After the qualifying, FIA has picked the Minardi of Luca Bader, Benetton of Johnny Herbert, and a Footwork of Ricardo Rosset for their post-qualifying inspection. All 3 cars have cleared the inspection without any troubles.
Hello there. Welcome to Australia. The weather, as so often is the case here, is just wonderful. Jacques Villeneuve first. Damon Hill second. Schumacher third. Alesi fourth. Herbert fifth. Sixth. Endured a lackluster qualifying session and faces a tough start in the midst of the chasing pack. He starts seventh. Coulthard eighth. Panis ninth. Mika Hakkinen 10th. Irvine 11th. 12th. Barrichello 13th. Sarlo 14th. Was way off the pace of his teammate. He starts in 15th. 16th. Pedro Diniz 17th. Heinz-Harald Frentzen 18th. 19th. Badoa 20th. Giancarlo Fisichella 21st. 22nd.
And it's time to start the 1996 season. It's go 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 for the opening Australian Grand Prix. I already got rear-ended. Sadly the 7th spot on the grid is on the outside, so that left me vulnerable to attack from Mika Hakkinen. So we already dropped 2 positions. Going into turn 3, I went on the inside, collided with one of the McLarens. I think that was David Coulthard. I am rusty from all of these months without racing, and it shows, because that maneuver wasn't really it, but thankfully we survived it without any scratch. I'm more worried about the damage of the rear wing. Let's get a replay of the start. Yeah, Olivier Panis just crashes into my back, and then Mika Hakkinen has the inside line into turn 1 and 2, and I'm forced to concede the position. Now into turn 3, I go on the inside of 2 McLarens, and yeah, I made contact with David Coulthard. Like I said before, the move was just too aggressive. Now Hakkinen and Berger are fighting. Benetton seems to have more fuel on board. That car seems really slow. Now I'm gonna go on the outside of Mika Hakkinen going into turn 13. Braking at 100 meters, is that enough? No, he had the inside line, but now I do a switchback. The tables have turned into turn 14, and we are in 7th position. Now we will see if I have the pace to attack Berger. Oh, and I had a snap going to the last corner. Thankfully I've saved it, otherwise it would be quite embarrassing for us. Hakkinen was getting really close in my mirrors, but I think he decided he doesn't want the Austrian to run away from us. And on the same lap, Berger makes a mistake going out of turn 12. Of course, I am too far away to attack him now, but probably in a lap or 2, the Benetton driver will be really vulnerable to our attacks. And 2 laps later, he once again goes wide, but my Hart engine struggles to catch up to Renault-powered machinery. But I seem to be the closest I ever been to Berger. He is struggling big time on that heavy fuel load, and now under pressure, he collides with a wall. That was a slight contact, probably no damage for him. And after that, he cannot run away on the start-finish straight from us. I had a bad exit of turn 2, but he's still only 5/10ths ahead. Turn 3, he's wide again. Turn 4, he completely misses the apex. Sadly, turn 5, turn 6 and turn 7 are not good for overtaking. We'll have to wait for turn 9, really, for our first proper shot. And I'm not close enough to overtake him there. But historically, Berger's weakest point is that turn 12 exit. No matter what he does, the car just understeers and he goes into the grass. And that's once again the case. Now I seem to have a great exit from that fast chicane. And going on the inside into turn 13. I've done it! I've done it, we are ahead of Berger. Now our task is to run away from him and Hakkinen. And now Frentzen, his suspension has collapsed and Bader crashes into the back of him. Bader has lost his front wing and that will complicate his race. And in just a lap we build a 1.5 second gap to Berger, and look how fast that gap grows. That overtake was key for our race and for being saved from Häkkinen. Damon Hill out of turn 13 he goes. Into the last corner, and now he crashes into the wall! Damon Hill crashes into the wall and loses his front wing! What a terrible start to the season for him! And because he crashed in the last corner, now he has to do a full lap without his front wing. So I'm about to overtake Damon Hill, but his Renault-powered engine combined with lack of front wing makes that Williams really fast in a straight line. I struggled to overtake him, but now we are going into a corner and he doesn't have enough downforce, he lets me pass. And we are up to 5th place if we finish like that. 2 points for us and for footwork. Berger, Häkkinen and Coulthard are approaching damaged Williams. Now Berger goes defensively into turn 13, but he outbraked himself, went wide, and Häkkinen is now ahead of him. Now let's see how will Häkkinen deal with Hill. Okay, he will just cut the corner. Fair enough. Berger really did a stellar job defending from those 2 McLarens, and that's great for us. I love you, Berger. Thank you very much. We have a gap of over 4 seconds now to Häkkinen, but it started dropping really fast. He regained a second over those 2 laps. We might have a problem here. We are in 5th and we have 2 McLarens behind us. If they overtake me, I am 7th and out of the points. And over the next 2 laps, Häkkinen did not gain basically any time. No idea what is happening to him, but I hope he keeps that pace as long as it's possible. Meanwhile, I'm approaching a Minardi. I think that's gonna be the first time in my career I'm gonna lap someone. So that's Luca Badoer. He goes wide out of turn 3 and he goes wide into turn 4. Sadly, I follow him. Overall, quite an unlucky place to lap someone. Let's hope Häkkinen will have same misfortune as me. Oh, and I slightly overpushed the tires into turn 6. Thankfully, Häkkinen lost around 7 tenths behind a Minardi. And that's the race leader Jacques Villeneuve going into the pit lane on lap 14. This means Michael Schumacher in his Ferrari is the new race leader. The race is not looking so bad for Ferrari. Martin Brundle has to defend from a Jordan going into turn 13. Oh, and that's a black puff of smoke coming from his Ligier. His engine seems to be failing. Oh, but it disappeared. No, never mind. It's still there. Surely he has to go to the pit lane. No, he doesn't. Does he know his engine is failing? Oh, and his car is on fire. Well, that probably will be a warning to Martin Brundle. When Schumacher did that in last year's Spanish Grand Prix, it didn't go well. Talking about Michael Schumacher, here he is going into the pit lane. He lost almost the entire gap he created to Jean Alesi lapping cars, and that means Jean Alesi is the new race leader. Frenchman knows Michael is the star of the team, but he won't settle for being a number 2 driver. On lap 17, Häkkinen is just 5 tenths away from me, but a 40 came with a clutch. One of the yellow submarines goes out of the pit lane and comes out right in front of Häkkinen. And the Finn really struggled with lapping it. I have no idea what Häkkinen was planning to do here. Now he just simply have to go on the inside. And he does that, but he also goes on the grass. Well, that wasn't Mika's finest performance, but it bought me another 3.5 seconds. Now David Coulthard is in the pit lane. Are they planning to do something about footwork of Bill Brama? Oh, and he stopped in a weird place. What is happening to David Coulthard? We don't hear his engine. Is that a failure for McLaren? It seems to be. And now it is confirmed David Coulthard is out of the race. And now I'm lapping Pedro Diniz. I go on the inside into turn 13. What is he doing? I had to avoid him. That wasn't really nice of him. Thankfully, we didn't get any damage from that. And going through turn 11 and 12, I got an information from my race engineer. Pit crew ready. It's time for our first pit stop. And you can see Mika Häkkinen behind me. Of course, the chances he overtakes me in a pit lane are slim. And we are off. Off we go. Big wheel spin from my footwork. Häkkinen is also out of the pit lane, so his McLaren seems to be handling them better than Coulthard's. After exiting the pit lane, Finn is 2 seconds behind me. Oh, and another slide going into turn 6. That's a costly mistake. And what is happening to Villeneuve? Why is he in front of me? It turned out that he's done the same mistake as Damon Hill. And Jean Alesi has a slight collision with the Canadian. Now Diniz crashes into him as well. Williamses are basically gifting Ferrari 1-2. Of course, Jacques also has to do a full lap without his front wing. And you can see on the right, Villeneuve comes into the pit lane. Shame for them, good for us, because that strategy for Berger seems to be really strong and we lost our P5 we gained while overtaking him. And as a 40 going wide into turn 4, now he blocks me. What are you doing? Thankfully no collision for us, but it distracted me and I made a mistake in turn 6. We are about to lap Pedro Diniz. Now Diniz goes wide in turn 15. Going into the final corner, he understeer, touches the wall. What are those buck markers doing today? I don't think me and Gachot were that incompetent. Oh, and maybe I shouldn't be saying bad things about them. I just had a massive snap of oversteer. Yeah, I should probably focus on my race. Another 2-lap cars. It's a Minardi, which we lap with ease. And that car in front is a Tyrrell. No idea if that's Salo or Katayama. I'm not interested in it either. We just have to build that gap over Häkkinen, overtake those lap cars as fast as it's possible, and we seem to be doing a good job. Häkkinen is 4 seconds behind me. Every time he comes closer to me, I just deal with the lap traffic much better. And we have another 2 cars. Once again, I'm Minardi, I go on the grass. Yeah, we cannot lose time here. We have to go for every gap there is. If you no longer go for a gap, you're no longer a racing driver. Why is that Tyrrell defending from me? I swear lapped cars today are behaving absolutely terrible. What is happening? Let's see how Häkkinen deals with the traffic. He gets completely blocked by a Minardi. What are you doing? If James Hunt was with us today, this broadcast would have to be taken down for explicit language. Maybe things are like that because it's the first race of the season. Drivers are rusty. Let's hope for that being the case. Thankfully for Mika, the Tyrrell seems to be much less defensive and he just let the McLaren by. And I'm approaching my teammate with the intention of lapping him. He touches the wall, but compared to the other cars we've been lapping today, he moves over for me. Thank you, Ricardo, that was really nice of you. And lap 38, pit ready, it's time for our second pit stop. The tires are being changed, fuel is being put in my car, and off we go! 8.4 seconds long pit stop, and where will we come out? It seems to be in 8th. Villeneuve is behind me, but I'm almost sure that he has to do another pit stop. And now Mika goes into his pit box. You can see a Jordan going out, and what happened to him? I think he has the same issue as Coulthard. Is that the second McLaren out of the race? Yes, it is. I got a confirmation on the radio that the second McLaren is indeed out of the race. And we are basically safe in our 5th place. Barrichello is 23 seconds behind me. Now we just have to pray our engine doesn't fail, our back markers won't do weird stuff. That 40 was seemingly wiggling. What? Anyway, let's just lap him. I want this to be over as soon as it physically can. I cannot be bothered to deal with those lapped cars much longer. Now it's time to lap Eddie Irvine, who gives us the space on the inside. And we are through. No, never mind, he's still there. No, never mind, he finally backed off. Thank you, Eddie, but what were you doing? Anyway, oh my god, he just crushed. I lapped him and he goes wide, crashes into the wall, loses his front wing. 10 laps to go, let's hope I don't see any lap cars right in front of me. Never mind, that's another one of them. But it sounds similar to Williams I overtaken on the start of the race. That was Damon Hill, you probably remember that. Yeah, I think that's a Williams. I think that's Damon Hill. Oh, and he struggles with lapping. I think that's a Minardi. What is happening? How is Damon Hill this slow? Anyway, I go on the outside of the Minardi. It gives me space. Thank you very much. One of the rare, well-behaving lapped cars. Now that Williams has to let me by. Blue flags are being waved to him. He goes on the inside. He gives me space. Thank you very much, Damon, for making this easy for me. Never mind, he crashes into the back of me. That was a small contact, but as you probably remember, Olivier Panis already did a close inspection of my rear today. Yep, he understeers into my right rear tire. Of course, that Williams is damaged from that crash into the wall. Oh, and that's a car stopped. Who's that? That's one of the Jordans. Barrichello is right behind me. It has to be Eddie Irvine. He brakes for turn 1, they lock up, and he crashes into the wall. It is race over for Eddie Irvine. And João Alesi comes out of the final corner to cross the finish line for the last time. João Alesi is the winner of the season opening 1996 Australian Grand Prix. What a drive from the Frenchman. But behind him a battle is brewing. That's Michael Schumacher and Gerhard Berger. Schumacher has been slower than Berger for these last couple of laps. Now the Austrian has a look for it. You're too far away, Gerhard. What a beautiful sound of those two cars out of turn 10. Now into 11 and 12. Gerhard has been really slow through here on his first stint. That seems to be the case once again. He has a great run on Schumacher now. Is it enough to overtake him in turn 13? No, and he goes wide. It seems to be over. I think Schumacher is safe now. But that was a tense last lap for him. Into the final corner he goes. Oh, he goes wide. He crashes into the wall. Does Berger have enough top speed to pull this off? They go almost wheel to wheel. Schumacher gets a second place. Berger is third. Oh, and they collide after the finish line. Most importantly for me, penultimate corner. Now into the final corner, Pedronis is in front of me. I think there's oil on track. He understeers, I oversteer, he crashes into the wall, he loses his front wing. But I don't care about that. It is P5 for us in the first race for footwork. 2 points, get in there. Oh, what a race. Come on, come on. I'm not held back by the stupid Pacific machinery anymore. Let's go. Oh, let's just hope nothing bad happens to me in the post-race inspection. Williams of Damon Hill, Jordan of Rubens Barrichello and a Ferrari of Michael Schumacher has been taken for the post-race inspection, and all 3 cars have been deemed legal by the FIA, so that means nothing changes in race results. João Alesi takes the first win of the 1996 season, Michael Schumacher is second, Gerhard Berger completes the podium, Johnny Herbert finished 4th, I finished 5th, and Rubens Barrichello takes the last points paying position. Just outside of the points finished Olivier Panis, 2 Williamses are in 8th and 9th, my teammate Ricardo Rosset is 1 lap down in 10th, Ukyo Katayama 11th, Mika Salo 12th, Pedro Diniz 13th, Pedro Lamy 14th, Lavaggi DNF'd on lap 55 but still finished ahead of Giancarlo Fisichella and Luca Bader, and Eddie Irvine, Hakkinen, Coulthard, Brundle and Frentzen have DNF'd. Now let's take a look at the championship standings. Of course the Drivers' Championship is not that interesting. Everything is the same as the race results, but in Constructors' Championship Ferrari is on 16 points. Even though Williams was the fastest in qualifying, Ferrari takes the lead of Constructors' Championship. Benetton has 7 points and is second. Footwork is third with 2 points, and Jordan is 4th. Ligier, Williams, Minardi, Tyrrell, Forti, Sauber and McLaren are yet to score points. And that's all when it comes to this video. Thank you for watching and see you for the Brazilian Grand Prix.